that makes the audience go, ooh. You can't have 14 oohs in one fight. It's hard. Part of the problem in making action films is you do have to have an inner edit button, because it's very hard in fight choreography to not get repetitive when you make fights that long.
Special guest in the house today, and I'm very excited about this because not only is he a martial artist, he's a stunt coordinator, actor, super accolades. Weapon specialist. I've been so excited to get him on. Mr. Lucas LaFontaine, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you today?
Man, I'm so good, and thank you so much for doing this. Of course, we talked when Mexicali was out. Love that movie. Had a blast talking with you and Bren and Jesse and all those guys.
And he had him almost in the arm bar, and then we call it like a curly shuffle. He shuffles out, like, oh, dude, I'm like, we try
curly shuffle. We call that. We call that the hip escape, because as the arm extends, you got to turn and kick out and run around.
And since then, I think I've watched the movie like 5 more times, so I can't get it.
Wow, well, thank you.
Nah, man, I really dig it, man. I'm an action guy, and I'll even start off by just asking you, because I'm sure by now, the hype is so crazy. Everyone's seen that movie, The Furious. I can ask you straight up, as a stunt coordinator, and this is your craft. Do you think that's just reset the bar or what?
It's kind of hard because they've done some insane stuff in the movie. I always I've got a set of scales, where I always kind of sit there and I go, hey, you still got a story you got to tell. Right. And so for me, I'm not a stick in the mud, but sometimes when something is over choreographed, your brain gets numb to it because you take in so much of the fight choreography, and then when it continues to go on, you start to get a little numb to it.
Okay.
Because it's very hard in fight choreography to not get repetitive when you make fights that long.
True.
So, there were whole sections of the movie that I loved, and then there were other parts where I was kind of like, oh, nah, you're doing this just to have a longer fight in here. And so, it parts of it were so good that when parts of it kind of overdid it, I got a little disappointed, because it's impossible to keep measuring up when you have so much fight choreography and so many good sequences. Not all of the sequences are going to be up here. So, right. The sledgehammer bit didn't really make sense to me. There were a lot of things in the sledgehammer fight that literally were the equivalent for me of people doing dialogue and going blah 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 blah. So, what happens to me is I temporarily get taken in and out of the film.
Okay.
Because I'm looking at every aspect of the movie. But that being said, they did do a lot of amazing stuff in that movie. People did work really hard, and there was a lot of stuff that I was very, very impressed with, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, the movie's amazing. I get your points, though. There were parts where you kind of got to stretch the reality bar in your head. The sledgehammer, to me, I was telling one of my buddies, I'm like, loved it, but then it's not even so much dude gets whacked in the head with a sledgehammer, and then, spoiler alert, he comes back later and he's still alive, but some of it was just like, wait a minute, are we? Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's hard being martial artists. It's hard when you see a piece of choreography and you're literally, every ounce of your body's going, why'd you go there? Why'd you block that like that? As like, you could have done this, or this. And when it's picking something to try and be different, and it winds up being awkward, and the martial arts side of you is going, yeah, in a million years, that wouldn't have been my choice. That makes it kind of hard, and it pulls you out for a second, and you have to go, it's not you, and it's a movie, so shut up and just enjoy it.
What up, Sifu Quasi? Listen, if you're enjoying this so far, do me a favor, would you? Hit that like button for me. In fact, smash the thing. And while you're there, leave a comment. But more importantly, subscribe to the channel so you'll always be aware when we drop videos just like this.
Yeah, listen, I think we're probably on the same page because it's a lot of, especially the finale fight's so good. But then when they bring the bicycles out, I'm like, wait, really? I don't know. Just for me, that was one of those moments where I'm like, I guess I get trying to be different with stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, listen. Part of the problem in making action films is you do have to have an inner edit button.
Right.
You know, you have to be self-critical in terms of, I'm very self-critical, you know, when I'm doing choreography and things. Is it good enough? No, you know, this was a second pass. It's crap. Throw it out. It's got to be more complicated. It's got to be better. It's got to be more interesting. But at the same time, if something, I'm looking at it and I'm kind of like, there's a dead spot here. This goes on 6 moves too long. Right. Then I'll look at being critical of my own work and going, okay, this could be 5 moves shorter. It'll be more exciting. It'll be tighter. You'll pay attention to the individual moves more, as opposed to if it goes on for another 2 minutes, you're going to lose that punch, that zap.
Right.
You know, that makes the audience go, ooh. Yeah. You can't have 14 oohs in one fight. It's hard.
Ooh.
It's really not easy to be like super analytical of your own work and have people that work with you that are going to give you an honest opinion.
I got
when you go,
yes,
is this droning on? Is this droning on? You know, and they have to be able to say, yeah, I've watched it like 5 times and there's like this section and this section. You know, by the time we get to this point in the fight, we're already there. And I think, you know, we love the ending. Let's take the ending. Let's take these 5 moves out and stick the ending in here. And it'll feel sharper and it'll feel like, you know, a more, you know, vicious, exciting fight.
Right. The less is more approach, which, yeah, sometimes that's what you got to do, and have those people around you that are going to be genuine and give you their real opinions. I totally understand.
And at the same time, I'm also not a fan of short fights. I mean, if it requires it story-wise, sure. But I mean, I'm always about giving the audience enough action. You know, if I have to choreograph action, you know, if we're going to do a whole film, I want at least 4 to 5 separate action pieces in the movie. Yeah. You know, if I can squeeze more in there that makes sense, I will absolutely do it. And, you know, I'm always trying to go, if I get 4 fights in, and I can get a shootout in and something else, then we're well-rounded and we're good. And it, you know, the story still makes sense because there's a motivational pacing. You know, if your character is supposed to be getting from point A to point B, and it's a really drastic reason, why is he spending 8 minutes fighting this guy?
Right.
Like, where's my daughter? Where's my daughter? Why am I spending 8 minutes fighting this guy? And it would almost be more interesting. It'd almost be more interesting as choreography if his character realized it in the middle of the fight. And there's this 7 or 8 minute fight going on. And then he's suddenly like, what am I doing? I'm not fighting my daughter this way. And he just goes whang and hits the guy in the head with a pipe or something completely off the wall. And we see that he's got to get back on his mission, because now you make the fight fun, you point out something the audience is thinking, and you go with it, and you still don't lose the fight. But when you suspend disbelief, you know, the thinking man is like, all right, the whole movie is stopped now. And this is a great piece of choreography, but it makes absolutely no sense for the story of the movie.
Look at this one. Look at that one. Look at this one. Look at that one. Look, are you kidding me?
Hi, this is Luke LaFontaine, and thanks for tuning in to Kung Fu Chronicles.